Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Putri Proto Arafah binti Muhammad Ramzi Asri Samad, and I am from Group 7. We present to you about topic 8, strategic analysis. So in this chapter, we will learn about the process of generating and selecting strategies. Second, strategy formulation framework, which is has input stage, matching stage, uh, matching stage which is SWOT matrix, the space matrix, the BCG matrix, and the IE matrix, and the grand strategy matrix. The third stage is the decision stage, which is have a QSPM matrix. Okay, for the first one, the nature of strategy, analysis and choice. Alternative strategies represent incremental steps that move the firms from its present position to the desired future positions. Then, alternative strategy do not come out of blue, which is not come out of sudden. They derive from the visions, missions, objective, external audit, and also internal audit. They are consistent with or built on the past strategies that have worked well. Okay, here is the process of generating and setting strategies. The first step is involve managers and employees that assemble the organization visions and mission statements, perform the external audit, and also conduct the internal audit. Then the next step is alternative strategy proposed by the participant are considered and discussed in meetings. And then next, when all feasible strategies are given and understood, the strategies are ranked in order or attractiveness, which is 1 should not be implemented, 2 possibly should be implemented, 3 probably should be implemented, and lastly 4 definitely should be implemented. And for the result, the result will prioritize list of the best strategies that reflect the collective wisdom of the group. Okay, a comprehensive strategy formulation framework. This strategy has been integrated to the 3-stage decision making framework, which is the first stage is the input stage. The input stage has the external factor evaluation EFE matrix, then competitive profile matrix CPM, and then internal factor evaluation IFE matrix. Then for the next stage is the matching stage. The matching stage has the strength and weakness opportunities, threats which is we learn from the SWOT matrix, strategic position and action evaluation space matrix, then Boston Consulting Group BCG matrix, then internal external IE matrix, and lastly grand strategy matrix. For the last stage, we have the decision matrix, which is a quantitative strategic planning matrix, QSPM. So at stage 1, which is input stage, we have to summarize the basic input information needed to the formulate strategies. Then the next stage, which is matching stage, focus upon generating feasible alternative strategy by aligning key external and internal factor. Then the last stage is the decision stage, which is use input information from stage 1 and to evaluate feasible alternative strategy identified in stage 2. Okay, we will learn more about the input stage. The first stage, the input stage is a procedure for developing an IFE matrix, and IFE matrix and CPM were presented in chapter 2 and chapter 3. The information derived from these 3 messages provide basic input information for the matching and decision stage matrices, which is matching and decision stage are from stage 2 and stage 3. Then the input tools require strategies to quantify subjectively during early stage of the strategy formulation process. Okay, for the matching stage, strategy is sometimes defined as a match and organization between internal resources, skills, and opportunities and risk created by its external factor. Matching external and internal critical success factor is the key to effectively generating feasible and alternative strategy. Okay, moving on to the matching stage. The table shows matching key external and internal factor to formulate alternative strategy. Okay, the first one, excess working capital, which is an external strength for the key internal factor. Then we combine with 20% annual growth in the cell phone industry, which is an external opportunity. Then for the key external factor, and the result strategy is acquire cell phone in cooperation. Okay, next, insufficient capacity, and which is an internal weakness for key internal factor. Combined with exit of two major foreign competitors from the industry, which is an external opportunity. The internal weakness combined with an external opportunities result pursue horizontal integration by buying competitors' facility, which is the resultant strategy. Then strong R&D expertise, which is an external strength for the key internal factor, combined with decreasing number of younger adult, which is an external factor for the key external factor. Result strategy, develop new product for older adults. Then poor employees moral, which is an external weakness, combined with rising healthcare costs, which is an external threat. The strategy result is develop a new wellness program. The matching stage have 5 technique, which is the SWOT matrix, the space matrix, the BCG matrix, and the IE matrix. Lastly, the grand strategy matrix. These 5 tools relies on information from the input stage to match external opportunities and threats with internal strengths and weakness.
Hello, my name is Nur Hafiza, PB18127. I will continue my part. So, SWOT matrix is an important matching tool that help manager develop 4 types of strategy. First is SO, strength opportunity strategy. WO, weakness opportunity strategy. ST, strength threat strategies. And lastly, WT, weaknesses strategy. So, SO strategy is use a firm internal strategy to take advantages of external opportunities. All managers would like their organization to be in a positive in which internal strength can be used to take advantages of external threats and events. When a firm has major weaknesses, it will strive to overcome them and make the strength. When an organization faces major threat, it will seek to avoid them to concentrate on opportunities. For the WO strategies, it's aimed at improving internal weaknesses by taking advantages of external opportunities. Sometimes key external opportunity exists, but a firm has internal weakness that prevent it from exploiting those opportunities. For example, there are high demand for electric device to control the amount and timing of fuel injection in automobile engines. This is opportunity. But a certain auto parts manufacturer may lack the technology required for producing their device. That is the weakness. One possible WO strategy would be to acquire this technology by forming a joint venture with a firm having competency in this area. An alternative WO strategy would be to hire and train people with the required technical capabilities. For the ST strategies, It is a use of firm strategies. It is a use of firm strength to avoid or reduce the impact of external threats. This does not mean that a strong organization should always meet the threats in the external environment head-on. For example, Texas Instruments use an excellent legal department. This is a strength to collect nearly 700 million in demands and royalty from 9 Japanese and Korean firms that infringe on patents for semiconductor memory chip. This is trade. Rival firms that copy ideas, innovation, and patent products are major threat in many industries. For the WT strategies, it is defensive tactic directed at reducing internal weakness and avoiding external threats. An organization faced with numerous external threats and internal weakness by indeed be in a precarious position. In fact, such a firm may have fight for its survive, merger, restructure, declare bankruptcy, or choose liquidation. A SWOT matrix is a composed of 9 cells, which is 4 key factors cell as labeled as SWOT, 4 strategy cell labeled of SO, WO, ST, and WT. One cell that is always left blank, which is the upper left cell. There are 8 steps involved on constructing a SWOT matrix. So this is a SWOT matrix. To strategy. The next step, which is first, list the firm's key external opportunity, EO. Second, list the firm key external threat, ET. List the firm key internal threat, IS. Then fourth, list the firm key internal weaknesses, IW. And next, match IS with EO and record the resultant SO strategy in the operate cell. Then match IW with EO and record the result WO strategy. Second last is match IS with ET and record the resultant ST strategy. And lastly, match IW with ET and record the resultant WT strategies. For examples, the case on VW Auto, the list of the company lists the internal strategy.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurain Sakina binti Muhammad Yusof, matric ID PB18130. Okay, I will explain a comprehensive strategy formulation framework, the limitation of SWOT matrix. First, SWOT does not show how to achieve a competitive advantage. This is because the matrix should be the starting point for a discussion on how proposed strategies could be implemented, as well as cost-benefit consideration that ultimately could lead to competitive advantage. Second, SWOT is a static assessment or snapshot in a time. As circumstances, capabilities, traits, and strategies change, the dynamics of a competitive environment may not be revealed in a single matrix. Third, SWOT analysis may lead the firm to overemphasize a single internal or external factor in formulating strategies. Okay, next is the strategic position and action evaluation, which is PACE matrix. There are 4 quadrant framework indicates whether first aggressive, second conservative, third defensive, and fourth competitive strategies are the most appropriate for a given organization. Okay, this is the PACE matrix. The first one is conservative, which is market penetration, market development, product development, and related diversification. Second is aggressive, which is backward, forward, horizontal integration. Then market penetration, market development, product development, and diversification, which is related or unrelated. Third is defensive, which is retrenchment, divestiture, and liquidation. And last one is competitive, which is backward, forward, horizontal integration, market penetration, market development, and product development. Okay, next is the axis of the space matrix represent first two internal dimension, which is financial position and competitive position. Second is two external dimension, which is the stability position and industry position. These four factors are the most important determinants of an organization overall strategic position. Okay, this is the space metric. Okay, financial position and industry position is aggressive. Industry position and stability position is competitive. Stability position and competitive position is defensive, and competitive position and financial position is conservative position. Okay, next is depending on the type of organization, numerous variables could make up each of the dimension represented on the axis of the space matrix. Factors that were included earlier in the firm's EFE and IFE matrix should be considered in developing a space matrix. Okay, next is the step required to develop a space matrix as follows. Step 1, we have to select a set of variables to define FP, the financial position, conservative position, stability position, and industrial position. Step 2, assign a numerical value ranging from positive first, the worst, to positive 7, the best, to each of the variables that make up the financial position and industrial position dimensions. Assign a numerical value ranging from negative first, the best, to negative 7, the worst, to each of the variables that make up the stability position and conservative position dimension. On the financial position and conservative position axis, make comparison to competitors. On the industrial position and stability position axis, make comparison to other industries. Okay, the step 3 is compute an average score for financial position, conservative position, industrial position, and stability position by summing the values given to the variable of each dimension, and then by dividing by the number of variables included in the respective dimension. Okay, that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Hello, my name is Hasmimi Nadira. I will continue for the next presenter, which is Space Matrix Axis. Space and SWOT matrix are considered two significant and applicable tools for defining the strategic position of organization. The difference between the two matrices mentioned are that SWOT matrix focus on strength and weakness as internal factor and opportunity and threats as external factor to recommended strategy for organization, but space matrix focus on financial strength and competitive advantage as internal factor and environmental stability and industry strength as external factor for formulating strategies. Each of internal and external factor in the space matrix has its own specific measure. For the first one is financial strength factor. Is measured by return on investment, leverage, liquidity, capital required, cash flow, ease of exit from market and risk involved in business. Second is competitive advantage factor, is measured by market share, product quality, product life cycle, customer loyalty, technological know-how, and vertical integration. And for the third is industry strength factor, are measured by growth capital, profit potential, financial stability, technological know-how, resource utilization, capital intensity, and ease of entry into market. And for the last is environmental stability. Factor is measured by technological change, rate of inflation, demand variability, barriers to entry into market, competitive pressure, and the lastly is price range of competitive product. Step 1 is choose a set of variables to use, guide the competitive advantage, industry strength, environmental stability, and financial strength. Step 2 is rate individual factor using rating system specific to each dimension. Rate competitive advantage and environmental stability using rating scale from -6 to -1. Rate industry strength and financial strength using rating scale from +1 until +6. Step 3 is find the average score for competitive advantage, industry strength, environmental stability, and financial strength. Step 4 is plot value from step 3 for each dimension on the space metric on the appropriate axis. Step 5 is at the average score for the competitive advantage and industry strength dimension. This will be your final point on axis X on the space metric. Step 6 is at the average score for the space metric environmental stability and financial strength dimension to find your final point on the axis Y. Step 7 is find intersection of your X and Y point and draw a line for the center of the space metric to your point. This line reveals the type of strategy the company should pursue. Space metric include 4 positions, which are aggressive position, conservative position, defensive position, conservative position, and horizontal axis in spacecraft show that Fs is financial strength and Ca is competitive advantage, while vertical axis show Es is environmental stability and Is is industrial strength. After assessing the business across 4 dimensions mentioned above, Space Metric can recommended 4 different strategies the company is using, which are aggressive strategy, competitive strategy, conservative strategy, and defensive strategy.